Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 in my PRS style kit build. I've been super busy. Here's what I've been up to. Let's check it out. Yes, welcome back you guys. As I mentioned, I've been busy over the last couple days working on this guitar, getting ready to post part 2. Now, as you can see, well, it's got a neck on it. And of course, we've got a little bit of a sheen. We finished a little bit of the top. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you want to know how I got the colors on this guitar, that's in part 1. I just used this stain, which is so much easier than like regular wood stain, which I've used in the past just for like natural colors. But the wood stain just really stinks. It takes longer to dry, gives you a headache if you're around it too much. This stuff is just ridiculously easy to use. So I was very impressed. That was the first time ever using this kind of dye. It dries in half an hour, so you can start blending it. You can add water if you don't like what you see and blend it further. So anyway, here's kind of what we ended up with. So a little bit of a sheen. I don't have like a polishing wheel. So, you know, if I had, you know, something I could put on a bench grinder or even a drill and really kind of put some polishing compound on here, I think we could bring up the sheen on it quite a bit, but this is just me kind of using my hands to kind of polish it up a little bit. And considering it is my very first try at a proper finish, there's not really too much like orange peel effect and stuff like that. It's not the smoothest finish in the world, but you know, I think I'm pretty happy with it in the end. And on the back side, I just went straight satin. And of course on the neck, that's what I wanted. So we got satin on the neck. And I'm happy with the way this turned out as well, because you can see a little bit different coloration of the mahogany through there. And that's what I wanted, kind of a little translucent. So you can see some dark spots, some light spots, and most importantly, satin for, you know, playability. So that's kind of what we got so far. Just added the clear coat on here, did a little quick hand buff on it. I think I will keep the backside just straight, you know. I might polish it up a little bit, but right now it's very just rough and satiny. Well, it's not rough, but like rough looking and satiny. So I could have some more time. But since we're doing this build in like a few days, it's kind of a rapid build. So anyway, that just kind of brings you guys up to speed on what's been going on with this guitar. So let's jump in and see if we can complete the build. All right, you guys, we've got her up on the desk here. I think the next step is going to be simply to attach the pickups. So I will feed the wire through here. I've already got it through the main cavity for both pickups. So I'm just going to feed that through. See if I can grab it here. There we go. Sorry about that. Now, I think what we're going to do is attach these pickup rings, because these are just floating here. So what we need to do is just make sure they're perfect. I need to drill 4 holes into the body. Obviously, this isn't pre-drilled. And then attach them. And hopefully, if we can you know, get it to suck down around that arch body, that's the ticket, right? Because these are straight. So what we want to do is make sure we get, you know, good purchase, so that when we suck that down, it's going to sit perfectly on there. Okay, so that's the first step. So I think these are pretty much in position. I could maybe put them, maybe I'll grab some painter's tape and just sort of tape over top of each one just to hold it perfectly. And then when I do the drilling, it's gonna stay there. So that's what we're gonna do next. And then we're gonna attach these guys. Now there is a ground wire. Which one is it coming in here? There will be a ground wire that'll come into ground one of the posts here. So I just need to find out where that is before I get put the hardware in. But other than that, let's start by attaching the pickups. All right, so we've got the pickup surrounds attached. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull off the painter's tape. There we go. And that's kind of like the first look. Pickups now won't be flopping around on us as we go ahead and do the wiring. Yeah, a little unsure about the zebra coil pickups at first, but the more I look at it, I think, you know, the more it's just gonna be okay. Yes, it'll give it a unique look, but I think, yeah, overall, if I don't like it in the future, I think I can replace them, but I do want to represent exactly what you'll get in the kit in terms of the tones and stuff, so when we plug it in, you guys can hear that. So there you go. That's step 1 down. All right, you guys, it's time to install the pots and switches. Thankfully, it's all pre-soldered. We're just going to have to solder in, obviously, the pickups and the output jack. Now, when I was test fitting this, I did notice that there wasn't quite enough of the stem to come through the body. So I'm just going to remove the adjustable nut. This is good for if you don't need, you know, very much, if your body's really thin. But I couldn't quite get it through, so I'm just gonna remove that and we'll try doing it this way. So just bear with me for a second as I put this through the body. There we go. That looks like a little bit more to attach to. Then we'll put our washer. This is important here because this will protect the nut from, you know, messing up your nice finish on your body. So now, as you guys can see, we've got the pickup selector on as well as our volume and tone. We just got to get the knobs on there. We'll do that at the end. But one thing you do not want to forget about is the ground wire that goes to the back post. So this is pre-drilled and everything. You just got to slip the ground wire through there. It's also pre-stripped, but man, there's not a lot of wire there at all. I don't know if you guys can see that. And so when you're putting in your post, you just want to make sure that you have good grounding. So I'm just going to take that and maybe give it a little bit more in terms of, you know, wire. I think that'll help. So you may have to do something like that. Now you can see we've got a good, you know, 1/2 inch there or something like that. Lots of wire so that we can, you know, as the post goes through, we can kind of just slip it like that and then bend it back. The post will, you know, kind of keep that in. So that'll just ensure that we have really good grounding. So let's not forget to do that. Well, you guys, it's time to seat the posts for our stop tailpiece. So for that, we're going to be using the rubber mallet and just kind of like tapping this baby home. Here we go. Well, you guys, we're making some great headway. We've got our stop tailpiece, 2 pneumatic bridge. That's all ready to go. We just need to obviously thread them in and everything went nice and flush. So super happy with that. All the electronics are ready to go as well. We need to put the output jack plate on as well when we do the soldering. So we are going to turn our attention to the back cavity cover, get our soldering iron out, and burn some wires. Well, you guys, it's time to wire up the pickups. Now, thankfully, Solo has all the wiring diagrams for all their kits online. You can just pull it up on your computer. You can print it off. I just took a snapshot on my phone here. But it's super easy. So basically the neck pickup is the yellow wire. It goes to terminal 1 and ground to the middle terminal, and the bridge just goes to terminal 3 and grounded to the same middle terminal. And that's it for the pickups. So one terminal, and all the common grounds right there. So there we go. I'm gonna fire up the soldering iron and we'll be back. All right, you guys, quick update. The soldering is all done. So there was 2 points to the output jack, and then there was 3 points for the pickups with the shared ground. I just have the little baby Weller. This thing works super good. So if you like to swap pickups or do the odd job, this little soldering iron is really good. This is the WLC 100. I've used it for a few years just for jobs like this. If you do more intense stuff, you're going to want a bigger model. But for just doing this kind of wiring, it works really well. Okay, so anyway, I took it to the amp and just did a quick check, because before we get too far, I always want to make sure that, you know, the neck pickup is the neck pickup, the bridge is the bridge, and everything works the way it should. So it does. So our next step is pretty easy stuff. We're just going to put on the stop tail piece. We're going to put on the 2 pneumatic bridge. We're going to put the strings on. We'll put the knobs on, and we're going to plug it in and see what this thing sounds like. So I'm going to quickly do that. We're just going to put the knobs on. We'll just put the hardware on. That's self-explanatory. There's not much to it, but I'll be back with an update. All right, now as you guys can see, I've installed the 6th string and the 1st string. I just wanted to verify that it was going to be straight up and down the neck the whole way, so that there's, you know, ample room for vibrato and for bends and that kind of stuff. And so far it looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the rest of the strings. We got a nice breakover angle here, just pretty subtle, but just enough to keep that tension there. So I think everything's looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead, put on the rest of the strings, and then we'll do our tone test. All right, you guys, well, let's throw caution to the wind and try out a few tones here. These are literally the first tones out of a brand new guitar. That's my favorite part about doing a kit, is you just never know what it's going to turn into. And yeah, you know, at the end of a week here for me, we got a brand new instrument. So here we go, stock pickups. I'm plugged into my Mezzabarba as usual. Here we go, let's just noodle around a bit. So neck pickup. So there you guys go. Those are the first tones out of our brand new guitar. Man, that's the most exciting thing about doing a kit, is sort of starting it, not knowing how it's going to turn out. And overall, I have done a few kits from solo guitars before. And this one was just as good. It took a little bit more time because of the glue-in neck joint. As I mentioned in part 1, this is the first time I've done a glue-in kit, and really it was just as simple as the bolt-on. You just need more time, you know, to kind of like, I just let it cure overnight and stuff like that. Now, what would I do different on this kit? Well, as I mentioned, if you want your top to be like really like lustrous and reflective and stuff like that, you're gonna need more time than I took to finish this, because it really, you know, if I had done this over 2 weeks, I would put more coats of lacquer over top, and I would buff it more, I'd sand it more, all that kind of stuff. In the end, I think it still looks really nice, but you know, if somebody was really into finishing guitars, I know they could make it look nicer than I did. But overall, yeah, super pumped with the dies. I'll link to all that stuff in the video description below if you want to find the dies and stuff. They're super cheap. They're like, I think, maybe like 10 bucks for a pack of 3 or something like that. It's ridiculously cheap, so you can like experiment with stuff. And tinting the neck, really enjoyed that as well. Just something a little bit different. And as I mentioned, still pretty kind of like very satiny, and I could probably do some more sanding and coating on the back as well. As you can see, I buttoned it all up. This little plastic piece did fit quite well. I got the strap buttons on there as well. So basically the whole kit is done. And if I didn't have to, you know, do all the finishing work and stuff like that, a person could do this kit in a day. But it's all the finishing and stuff that you want to make it look good. So anyway, very happy with this kit. The angles and stuff on the neck are perfect. Like the breakover angle with the bridge and stuff like here, like almost no setup. I still need to do the intonation on this. I didn't do that. But in terms of how the guitar plays out of the box, very impressed, because, you know, I didn't have to change the nut at all. Like the height here on the nut, I've had some kits where it's too high and a set of nut files would be needed to lower it. Not bad here. And then here I just set up the tailpiece pretty much right on the body, and then yeah, the bridge a little bit higher. It didn't need to go much at all. And it plays really nice, actually. I didn't adjust the truss rod or anything. That might change over time, just because it's a brand new guitar. The tension of the strings literally have been on here for 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. By the time I'm recording this clip. So yeah, overall thumbs up on this kit. It's really good. I'm trying to remember, I've done a Jazzmaster kit from Solo, also a Les Paul kit. You can find those videos on the channel as well as I go through that. But yeah, this PRS kit, highly recommended. The top did look very plain when it arrived. You know, when it was a natural, you looked at it and you're like, well, there's not much there. And then you started to add the dye and it popped out, and then you add some finish. And, you know, quite nice, you know, in the end. So yeah, and of course the blue purple I'm quite happy with, as you guys know. So that was a big experiment, having never done it. So those are the joys of doing a kit. It just gives you something, yeah, kind of exciting and different, makes you think outside the box. Even if you're not used to doing some wiring, you know, you're gonna have to solder up, I think, 5 different points. So, you know, if you've never done that, that's a nice little challenge. Or as I mentioned, doing a kit with your son or daughter or something like that is just the best. So yeah, there you guys go. I love doing kits. It's been a while on the channel, so thumbs up from me. I'll link to all this stuff in the video description below if you're interested. Other than that, have yourself a great weekend. Take care.